Second.
Vote second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Virgil, you're up first today.
We got two for you tonight. The first one is a rehash. This is 2842 18th Street. The owner has sold the property. The new owner is planning to tear it down within the next couple of weeks. But we want to just go ahead and vote it down, and he should be able to get it torn down. He'll have plenty of time to tear it down before we get to it.
Is this the young man that came in late one night?
Yes.
Okay.
He finally sold it, and they got it. Everything's finalized. The new guy's got the paperwork. He said he's going to get his equipment on there probably within the next week.
Well, he did what he said he was gonna do.
Yeah.
He did.
I doubt it.
So, the new owner doesn't have to have a particular plan for this property, do they?
No, not to tear it down. He can tear it down, but it's on residential anyway. Now, it may be a big enough lot to subdivide. I don't know. That would be a planning question, but he can,
Right.
as long as he's got a lot more properties on the west side. So
Gotcha. Okay.
he's not going to be here. The new owner is not going to be here tonight.
Do we know who the new owner is?
Bearden Properties.
Bearden Properties.
Oh,
yeah.
you know him.
Yeah.
And so he's planning on tearing it down.
Yeah, he's going to tear it down and rebuild something else there.
Okay. Next.
So the next one is 613 23rd Avenue East. This house is owned by College Hills Church, and they're just wanting us to tear it down. It's a voluntary condemnation. They will not be here to contest it or anything. They are aware that if it's tore down, the cost will come back to them.
The Reverend Croom.
Reverend Crane, yes.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions?
You say they will be here tonight?
They
They
won't.
won't. He had texted me saying they won't be.
They want it gone. I mean, they may show up, but I told him he didn't have to be here because it's a voluntary. So,
All righty. Thank you, Virgil.
thank you.
Tony.
All right, good afternoon, Councilor Mayor.
Definitely.
Good afternoon.
We have 4 applicants for you guys tonight. The first one will be Olympus 01 LLC, DBA Santos Street Eats and Bar, applying for a restaurant retail liquor license, located at 1014 7th Avenue. Those are the hours of operation: Sunday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
That's the old storybook over in my district.
Storyville.
Storyville.
Good old story. Needs to come back.
By the way, there will be probably a group, I think from the church that owns the property across the street. They're gonna come meet with me before full council, and they may choose to weigh in at council.
Yes, sir. This is the area location of the property. Then this is the zoning map. Then adjacent business beside it. This was voted unanimously on public safety to come before the full council for applying for a restaurant retail liquor license. All right. The second one I have is J&S Bartending LLC. They're applying for a special retail less than 7 days for Druid City Arts Festival and for barbecue and blue jeans, located at 4922 McWrights Ferry Road. Druid City Arts Festival, you guys know, it's 618 21st Avenue.
What's the date of DCAF this year?
I'm not sure. I'll let you know.
We can
April 4th and 5th.
Yep. Gonna put the kids
You can go for one of them. Would you like the times? From 10 to 5 on Saturday, 5 to 9 on
5 a.m.
That'd be more my style.
All right, and then we have Downtown Entertainment LLC applying for special retail less than 7 days for the Sigma New Voyage Party, which will be on March 22nd at 990.
Voyage.
Yes, sir.
Darty.
Yes, sir.
I guess.
Voyage. I know what a Darty is. I just found out. Y'all know?
No, I don't.
It's a day party,
Okay.
a darty.
Oh.
I'm you. I'm you.
Well, that's located at 990 University Boulevard. Then we have ATO Parents Weekend on March 29th at 332 University Boulevard. Then KA Dixieland on March 27th at 416 University Boulevard.
30s, yeah.
And then my last applicant we have is Party Down LLC. They're applying for special retail less than 7 days for the DKE Undertakers party at 946 University Boulevard. Then we have DKE Parents Weekend at 946 University Boulevard. Kappa Sigma Grand Opening at 282 University Boulevard. And then the Beta Theta 60th Anniversary Reception at 960 University Boulevard. Yes, sir.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Mathematics.
Yes, sir. I want to first thank the city council for your support this past week, Saturday especially, as we encountered really a forecast we don't see very often, and thankfully we did not have as much severe weather as predicted, at least within the Tuscaloosa metro area. So we thank you for your support. It's the rare occasion that we actually opened up 6 shelters, and I think we moved it to 7. We had close to 2,500 at one point within the shelters, McDonald-Hughes being probably the most well-attended, but Alberta certainly was heavily attended as well.
Yeah.
And even some sites who normally in the past maybe get a handful, really saw a lot of participation. So we appreciate everyone's patience. I know being in a shelter environment is not the most advantageous situation in the world, but I think everyone handled it very well. I really want to thank our team members, all of the city departments that made it happen. A lot of unsung heroes, like construction facilities and grounds, who went in the night before, got things, well, the day before to get it ready for the first wave, and then came back again for the second wave, and then worked all day Sunday to get it cleaned in the third wave. After the second wave on the third day, I can't thank them enough for getting those facilities back in order so the school system or Para could open them up. PD, Fire and Rescue. But in particular, I'd like to thank somebody, he's not here, but I wish he was, and that's Captain Chronister. Many of you know him. As you recall, the council was gracious enough to allocate a position of emergency operations manager at the city. We have not filled that position. In fact, I'm holding several positions as we look to the fiscal 26 budget. So what I asked about a month ago was that Captain Chronister take on those duties in addition to his other duties. I guess he could say he volunteered. I don't know if we gave him really much choice, but Brent and I made it as if we were asking him to volunteer to do it. He took it on, as always, with graciousness, but a fantastic amount of organization and expertise. I believe it's probably the most well-run event we've had in my 20 years with the city. And Locke organized it in a way that really, I think you would be very proud of. I know I was. And so anyway, I just wanted to congratulate him and our entire team for the work over the weekend and spring break. And again, I want to end where I began, is to thank the council for giving us the resources. And I know many of you were out in the shelters volunteering, coming out of your own pockets to help provide, and I know that was appreciated.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Well, look, all my 28 years down here, I've never seen anything as, and it starts at the top, and your leadership did not go unnoticed by so many of my constituents and things, and the council. So I've talked among several of the council members, and you were amazing, and they all did a great job. John, and to see John Brooks got pulled back into things. He did remind me of the tornado. Robin Edgeworth had even sent something before the tornado hit Gordo about things, but bottom line, it starts at the top, and we're very, very fortunate to have you leading.
I have a good, y'all hear me say this all the time, but I truly mean it. I have a 20-year record of taking credit for other people's great work. And John Brooke has certainly been a part of that. Interesting, you said Robin Edgeworth. I texted her to make sure she was okay.
Yeah.
And because Gordo certainly was hit, and we had a couple of our firefighters who were heavily impacted.
Pate was one of them, right?
Yeah, Josh and Wyatt Pate both were impacted by it. But she's fine. But I said, if anybody knows how to help a community recover, it'll be Robin
Yeah,
Edgeworth.
and you know, she's running for mayor.
That's what I hear.
She's formally announced.
I told her, let me know where I need to campaign for her and where I need to campaign against her. I'll do what I can.
That's good.
And so, if she gets elected, she'll do a great job.
Well, I'll never will forget those horrible days after the tornado, and John and Robin and,
Yeah.
of course, you, but, and Robin just really stepped up, and I thought about her first before, because she knows how to get things done.
And we're just glad we didn't have to declare you missing this time.
Thank you. I was very worried. Yeah, I was making sure that I was not missing. I was on high anxiety though, because I don't know, just the whole time I kept thinking about, every time we do a conference call, I just kept thinking about that day
Yeah.
and how horrible.
One of the similarities, I was telling Scott Dickey this that Saturday morning, is that, you know, we had the morning round of storms like we did on April 27th.
Yeah.
We had this huge lead up and forecasts and weather. It felt so similar, and it was just such a relief. Gosh, it was such a relief that we didn't have to experience that. You know?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
You know, sometimes when you think about something, Walt, you need to keep your mouth shut, but this is an instance I'm gonna open my mouth, because this morning I was thinking about, you know, I've been fortunate to be on this council for 4 years, and there's a lot of things sometimes I think we take for granted. I have, probably, is the great work that happens with you and the staff, and I know you guys catch a lot of grief about a lot of things, but this weekend I was reminded about, you know, when there's an emergency or potential emergency in our city, we as a citizen, I'm council too, but I mean, as a citizen, I depend on our city to be prepared for the worst, right? And it was amazing to me on Friday, I know we had that conference call, we had one Saturday, but to hear what goes into, not that, I hate Saturday, but you live it and you see logistically what all goes into that, the overtime that people worked, our staff, the great job they did of putting all this together, and we're fortunate that as a city we didn't really get hit very hard, but our citizens took it seriously, but we were prepared for the worst, and I think that's a credit to all of y'all in this room and the staff that's not, but I mean, that says a lot about our city, and I believe that we all collectively get criticized for all kinds of things, and that's the political process that we live in. But I just wanted to say thanks. And I thought about that this morning, because I don't think y'all hear enough thank you for the job you do, and the stuff that is not easy, and the hard decisions that have to be made. I know you end up having to do all that, but it's a pretty well-oiled machine. I'm grateful to be part of it and fund it and support you. I get that, but the biggest thing is the people around this room are the ones that need credit.
I'm not overstating this. If you didn't provide us the resources to have great department heads, great equipment, flexibility in budgeting that allows us to have CFG go up and clean buildings Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. I mean, all these things that kind of seem small, but you give us the flexibility to do, we couldn't do it. And so we appreciate that support and the resources to be able to do it.
But thank y'all for the job you do.
They did great. Thank you.
Councilor Wilson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Tyner. I also want to say, Mr. Mayor, you and the team did a marvelous job on managing the anxiety that we all had. I know that Councilwoman Howard and I were both at McDonald Houston, and I want to thank Councilwoman Howard for how she worked diligently. We tag team. We tag team. I would go back and forth from TCTA to McDonald Hughes, and the things that we provide and were able to provide was because of the citizens of Tuscaloosa. One man in particular who was, we call him Little Rose. I want to say it publicly. We went to get things for the people, and I want to thank you for even asking me to coordinate. The coordination that I did. And, when I couldn't get anybody, we just did it ourselves. And Councilwoman Howard, at the end, she was there cleaning up. She never said it. She was there sweeping. She was there.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, she was there with mops in her hand, and these are the things that don't get Facebook
Thank you.
credit. They don't get real credit. But I want to thank her for how we worked together to. You know, it was at one point over 800 at McDonald Hughes. It was over 225 at TCTA, and then hey, listen, I had to give chicken back. I had bought chicken. That's right. Jack's chicken at that. How about that? And gave boxes away.
You gave back chicken.
I gave back. But I just want to be able to say that and thank you, Councilwoman Howard, for our
Y'all's
tactics.
contact was, if you get that on the ground perspective, is key for us.
Oh, yeah.
It allows us to be nimble. I got a question for y'all. Why do you think we saw record numbers? We've never had shelter numbers this high we've never had it this high.
People were taking it
They were
seriously.
taking it seriously. One guy said he
People were
said
concerned.
he said, man, I remember where he was on the phone. I remember what happened the first time, and I don't want it to happen the second time. So he
I
made
had a
sure.
guy that was just, he was nervous. He was adamant that we were gonna open up Bryant High School. And I'm glad we did.
You know, we normally, I think the highest we've ever had at Bryant historically was 7 people.
That's what I told him, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, we were
And I got a lot of messages about just, are we gonna have a shelter open, and that usually doesn't happen.
Did you give out chicken?
I would have.
But by the time the
I
chicken
should have
came, it was
probably
time
with
to
that
go.
many people. Yeah, we could have used Matthews.
But
You sure could have.
Yeah, I
gave away boxes.
want to pile on maybe a different subject. We had a meeting about a week or two ago up here with various staff sections with some of the residents of the historic district, and that meeting was designed to kind of put in the cross pipes between the different sections. And anyway, this morning I see an unmarked black SUV with blue municipal tags pull up, and a guy gets out, looks around, and starts hanging citations onto garbage cans that have been left out too long. I just want to say the people of District 4 are cheering. Unfortunately, it's my next door neighbor, so I'm going to hear about it. But thank y'all. It is it's always when you see the fingerprints of action after discussion, it's always rewarding. Thank y'all.
have we gone to executive session?
No, sir, not today.
Wow.
It was interesting because I had my house was like the Alberta Animal Shelter because I had my long hallway filled with carriers and trying to get the cats in the carriers just in you try to get a cat and a bunch of cats in the carriers. I've got claw marks everywhere.
Oh, wow.
I said, just run free. Oh, mercy. Yeah, we were really blessed.
9 lives times 23 cats.
Nine lives, for sure. And Vicky's Vicky's hometown, if you've seen Tylerton, Mississippi, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
And I know you had a lot of classmates and different people who were, I don't know how many, 3 lives were lost, including the 7-year-old. But when I saw that, I said, that's where Vicky's from. Your dad's okay?
He's
He's out riding the roads.
he's out riding the roads leading the team.
Oh, dear. I do want to thank also, Bobby Herndon, by the way. He's already taken, one or maybe 2 truckloads over to Gordo and some places. And people ask if you want to donate or you've got things you can help at his office. What's that, Bridge Avenue? Off Bridge Avenue, I think.
I know where it is, but I don't know which, I could drive there, but I couldn't
Me
get
too.
to it.
It's his engineering office, but Bridge, anyway, he's got a big truck out there, but he is, he's really, every time I've ever heard of anything, he loads up those trucks and does all that himself, drives the truck.
Good guy.
I think that's the best way I tell people that want to help out folks in Gordo or wherever. Okay, thank you so much again, Mayor. Brandy.
All right, we had a little bit of a break from board appointments, but we're back. And we've got a couple to go over today. So the first one is the Alabama League of Municipalities. They are having their annual convention May 13th through 16th.
Raven.
Right.
Dang.
She's already registered.
So we've got Ms. Howard as our person who will be attending our business meeting. Mr. Lanier, you were the alternate, and Mr. Fail, you were the second alternate. Are you guys okay with that still?
Yeah, I know.
And that's if Ms. Howard doesn't attend, so. All right, so
Checking
then,
it. She's not putting up nearly enough fight about being.
Did I not? Wait, no.
There's a good deal in there.
Oh, please, let somebody else.
Let Cassius do it.
No, I told you, I like to be involved.
I just sent me a
But I'll go,
postcard.
I'll go. It don't matter. Either way, I'll go.
so the next thing we have is Historic Preservation Commission. They actually have 5 members who have terms that expire in May.
You say hysterical president?
Historic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So they have 5 that have terms that expire in May. This is mayor nominated, council appointed. I know that there is one person that has already expressed that they do not wish to be reappointed, so that leaves potential for quite a couple of vacancies. So in preparation for that, mayor has asked that we open the portal to accept resumes between now through June 1st, just to kind of start preparing and collecting them and making sure we've got enough for when that time comes.
Brandon, what's the total number on that?
Yeah, I was about to say, is it the whole
Seven.
board or is it staggered?
7.
No, there's
No,
not.
the whole
there's
board?
9.
9?
Yes.
All at once?
Well,
So
5 that
in May,
expired,
and then
one
one
is
in
already
October,
indicated.
I believe.
Do they need to live in a historic?
My thinking was, and again, please let me know if you think differently. I think Mr. Cox is the only one
Correct.
who doesn't want to be reappointed, was to take resumes for that position. I planned on, recommending any reappointments unless the council had any strenuous objections to it. But Mr. Cox's position would definitely be an open position.
Who else?
Kathy Pagani, Sally Davis, Wayne Yarbrough, and Mary Harmon Young. All right, so with your approval, we'll go ahead and open that portal to accept resumes. And then last but not least, we've got the Tuscaloosa Public Library Board. We have one position that has expired, Olympia McCracken. And then we have one that is potentially, is going to expire and may not come back, Miss Virginia Ennis. So we can start accepting resumes, but we wouldn't be able to act on Miss Ennis's position until the end of April. But of course, Miss McCracken's position has ended, so we wanted to see what you guys wanted to do.
Just advertise, if you will, I think, for her position for 2 weeks, I guess, or the same as Virginia's.
So Virginia's doesn't expire until the end of April, so we
I
could,
tried to talk Olympia out of it, but I think she's about had enough.
okay, so 2 weeks.
That sounds good. Is that good with everybody?
Wow.
And how many are on that board?
I want to say, there's a lot, but we only have, I believe, 4 appointees.
So probably a dozen or so.
I wish
4 or
Olympia
5,
would.
yes, sir.
I wish she would stay.
I think she would if we asked.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I've got.
All righty. Scott.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am about midway down on page 2, where on page 13, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, or services for AMP repairs and maintenance. This comes to you from budgeting. There's a total of we have a typo there somewhere, or a comma in the wrong place. Let us find that updated amount. Would you mind looking, Brandy? And we'll get back to you on that. On page 14, you'll be authorizing a professional study and consultant services agreement with Duncan Coker Associates PC for Jack Warner Parkway AL 297 intersection improvements project. This is a total not to exceed $36,060 and came to you in projects last week. There is a extra, looks like an extra 2. And so that total for that first item is $1,300, $1,329.94. I apologize. On page 15, you'll be authorizing minor public works contract with Alabama Pro Wash. That is a total of $3,200 and came to you on projects last week. On page 16, you'll be authorizing minor public works contract with Apex Civil Construction. That is a total of $9,200 and came to you on projects last week. On page 17, you'll be rescinding a contract with Tent World and authorizing a minor public works contract with Dark Matter Window Tent. This is a total not to exceed $2,950 and came to you in projects last week. On page 18, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Building Specialties Company. This is a total of $26,361.20, and this came to you in projects last week. On page 19, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with American Fence Company. That is a total of $6,800, and again came to you on projects last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Taylor Electric Contractors. That is a total of $11,577.50. That came to you in projects last week. On page 21, you'll be authorizing a distribution from District 1 improvement funds for the New Heights Foundation. That is a total of $5,000 and came to you in finance last week. On page 22, you'll be authorizing a distribution from District 3 improvement funds for the Gauntlet hosted at the Buddy Powell Pavilion. That is a total of $1,000 and came to you in finance last week. On page 23, you'll be authorizing a distribution from District 3 improvement funds for Northridge High School. That is $1,000 and came to you in finance last week. And yes.
Carly, will you make sure that check's made to the city school board? I think I said that.
There,
Just for reimbursement.
all the ones for the school system are always made out to the city school board.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. On page 24, you'll be acknowledging the contents of the 2024 Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Report to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. That was discussed last week in projects. Are there any questions for me?
Question for Scott. Thanks, sir. Projects 230, finance 315, admin 4, community development at 5. Thursday, personnel board meets in the council chambers, and then Monday, ZBA. Did you have something, Raven, you were asking about on the agenda?
Oh, there was, Norman had an agenda last night, so yeah, it was for him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? Okay, is there a motion?